Bleach's thousand-year Blood War arc includes a variety of new plots, including the Quincy Wandenreich invasion and a swarm of Sternritter's attack led by the wicked Ewok. Both villains and heroes die at the hands of each other, and an explosive combination of Bankai and Shrifts transforms Soul Society into a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Some of these deaths are tolerable, but others are simply tragic. In this video, we will be counting down the top 10 deaths in Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. Before we begin, please note that this video has some major spoilers from Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. So without further ado, let's begin. 10. Yachiru Unohana. Shunsui Kyoraku, the new Captain Commander, immediately orders Unohana to train Zaraki at Muken. This order is issued to help in the release of Zaraki's true infinite potential for strength and power. Both the first and latest Kenpachi have a strange history of awe, respect, and dread for one another. Unohana overpowers Kenpachi Zaraki and severely injures him during their fight to the death, healing him frequently during the fight. As the two continue to battle, Kenpachi grows stronger and stronger until he finally overcomes her by impaling her. She dies content, knowing that she accomplished his role of assisting Zaraki in unlocking his boundless potential, and congratulates him. 9. Chojiro Sasakibe. Chojiro Sasakibe was the lieutenant of the 1st Division, a position he had held for over 110 years. During the Thousand Year Blood War storyline, however, he was killed by Quincy member Driscoll Bursey. The Sternritter strikes one of the gates in Serete, killing 106 members of the 1st Division in the 182 seconds of the fight. Furthermore, Sasakibe is killed during the fight after Driscoll's medallion steals his Bankai. Sasakibe dies as a result of the injuries he got from being pierced by an arrow several times. Sasakibe is incinerated at the top of a funeral pyre, with other Gotei 13 officers paying their respects to the late lieutenant. 8. Pepe Wakabrata. Pepe Wakabrata is a Quincy and a member of Wandenreich's Sternritter, with the alias L the Love. Pepe and the other Sternritter meet at the Gate of the Sun, after receiving Ewok's orders to join in the conquering of Soul Society at the Serete. As Hisagi continues to assault Byakuya, Pepe observes that fights are incredibly sad because they're caused by love, making them beautiful. As Hisagi attacks Byakuya again, Pepe declares that the power of love is extremely noble, before using Love Kiss on Byakuya's shoulder. Despite this, Byakuya defeats Hisagi, causing Pepe to question whether his heart is empty of love before entering his Quincy, Volstandig, Gudo Arrow, and utilizing Love Rope, which pierces Byakuya with thick strings of the hearts. Hisagi attempts to attack Byakuya, but Pepe stops him before he can remove a bow and arrow from his mouth, and shot Byakuya. The appearance of the zombified Kinsei Muguruma and Rizur Torabashi, the former of whom kicks him in the head, interrupts Pepe. Following Mayuri Kurotsuchi's explanation of how he acquired control of Kinsei and Rose, Pepe attempts to take control of Kinsei using the love, noting that he had previously taken control of Giselle Jewel's zombies. On the other hand, Kinsei just hits him in the face, propelling him several feet back, while Mayuri discloses that the love will not work on his zombies, since they are not Giselle's, and do not understand what love is. Kinsei uses Sandbag Beat on a terrified Pepe, sending him falling into his structure. Pepe, who has declared that he would not forgive any of them, is surprised to see Lil Tato standing nearby. Pepe attempts to calm her down, but as she gets closer, Lil Tato triggers her Quincy, Volstandig. She wants to know if he attempted to murder them, and expresses her hope that he will accept his responsibilities. Pepe cries and begs mercy as her mouth deforms. 7. Nemu Kurotsuchi. Nemu Kurotsuchi was a former lieutenant in the Gotei 13's 12th Division. Captain Mayuri Kurotsuchi created her artificially by combining artificial souls and artificial bodies. During the Thousand Year Blood War storyline, Mayuri and Kenpachi were fighting Quincy member Perinda when Nemu entered the battle to demonstrate her might. She dies, however, after she's unable to cope with the haunting images of Saze El Poro and Perinda. 6. Genryusai Shigekuni Yamamoto. Yamamoto's Bankai Zenka no Tachi was stolen by Ewok after an epic fight. Yamamoto had previously engaged in combat with Royd Lloyd's portrayal of Ewok. However, after defeating Royd, who is mercilessly slain by Ewok himself, he is easily defeated by the real Ewok. 5. Jushiro Ukitake. Massive tremors rock Soul Society after Ichigo executes the Soul King out of necessity. Ukitake then begins the procedure to replace the Soul King, and a shadow appears behind him. As everyone gets a glimpse of the Kamikake on his back, his clothes fall off. After asking Mimihagi for strength and power, a large eye hovers above Ukitake's horrific body. He reveals how Mimihagi had kept him alive for so long after his parents begged the deity to preserve their sick 3-year-old son. Later, he becomes the Soul King's new right hand, only to be assassinated by Ewok. Other captains, like Rose Otoribashi and Kensei Muguruma, were killed by the Sternritter Grimmy Thumo while unconscious. They're later brought back to life. After using his humanification technique, even Sajin Komamura transforms into a wolf and resigns from his position. 4. Hidetomo Kajomaru. Hidetomo is a bespectacled guy of ordinary height, with light-colored hair that is mostly combed back, with a few strands framing either side of his face. When Hidetomo, Ryunosuke, Shino, and other Shinigami patrol near the Shakunmaku, Hidetomo advises Ryunosuke not to be too worried, because the Wandenreich will need to attack a gate, like they did the last time, to invade the Serite, and they will be informed if such an invasion occurs. Iwak, who appears in the skies above them, cynically declares his statement makes sense. Hidetomo urges the other Shinigami to calm down, because he's still outside the Shakunmaku, but Ryunosuke assures him he is not. Large beams erupt behind Hidetome, who is stunned. When another Shinigami standing next to Hidetome thinks the beams are light pillars, Hidetome disagrees and observes they are blue fire pillars. When Jugram Hashwall faces him and the other members of his division, Hidetome unsheaths his Zanpakuto, declaring that he would not allow the Quincy to go any further, but is told by Hashwalt that he is terrified. Hidetomo screams and tries to fight back, but he's knocked down and vertically split before he can. 3. Taketsuna Gori. Taketsuna Gori is present at the foot of one of the pillars of blue flame, generated by the Wandenreich invasion, along with Lieutenant Izuru Kira and his fellow 3rd Division officers. He moans about being bored of waiting and hopes that the enemy will appear soon. Izuru orders an attack after a member of the Reishi investigation team informs him that there's a Quincy inside the flame. However, Izuru is severely injured before he can react. Reek Tokaguchi directs the surviving Shinigami to attack with their Shikai. He unleashes his Shikai, but is overwhelmed by his Quincy opponent, who crushes his head into the ground. 2. Quilge Opie. Despite being unable to seize Ichigo's Bankai, Quilge was able to frustrate his opponent by blocking punches at point-blank range, and running at a blinding speed using the Hirin Kyaku technique. Quilge was never exhausted since there was a limitless supply of Reishi lying at Hueco Mundo. Despite being severely injured by Urahara's mysterious strike, the Stern Ritter trapped Ichigo in his The Jail method, using the Raso Tengai technique. Quilge could have returned to the battlefield, but he was slashed in half by an unknown attacker. As the majority of the victims lay severely wounded, fans speculate on the identity of the warrior who also pointed his sword at Urahara. 1. Captain Yamamoto. For those who are unfamiliar with power levels in the Soul Society, Yamamoto was at the top of the food chain. The captain commander of the Gotei 13 possesses more than just the Zanpakuto to demonstrate his might in combat. After all, the man is thousands of years old, and was the headmaster of the Genji school before founding the Gotei 13. In a battle with Iwak, Yamamoto demonstrated that his body count was in the thousands, but his strength came at a high cost. After all, Iwak is all too willing to criticize Yamamoto in his youth. After the Gotei 13 was formed, it appears Yamamoto governed the group with an iron fist, not thinking twice about sacrificing his men's lives. He felt the same way about his opponents as Yamamoto slaughtered hundreds of them, whether they were Quincy, Hollows, or anyone else. However, his battle-hardened heart melted lately, and Iwak says Yamamoto's weakening fortitude sealed his death. That's the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and drop a comment. We'll see you in the next video.